Okay. Assalamualaikum and good night, everyone. I am Muhammad REDZUAN bin Ismail. So I will be hosting an e-forum where I have two panels with me tonight. Can you guys introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Muhammad Hilmi bin Zainudin. I am a student from University Malaysia Melaka, UTeM. Currently undergoing study on the Occupational Safety and Health Ethics. So thank you, Mr. Ridwan, for inviting me to this forum session.
Assalamualaikum and good night. My name is Muhammad KHAIRULNAIM bin PAUZI, a student from Universiti Malaysia Melaka, UTeM. Currently, I am undergoing a study on the subject Engineering Ethics and Occupational Safety and Health. Thank you for inviting me to this forum season.
Okay. So shall we proceed to the first general question? So,
Okay, let's.
Mr. Hilmi and Mr. Naim, can you give your personal opinion on what is the good quality of an engineer?
Okay. In my opinion, a good quality engineer should have these three characteristics: creativity, thinking, a good leadership, and an attention to detail attitude. For me personally, I think most successful engineer must have the ability to improvise when caught in a certain situation, the ability to think outside the box, lead a team of engineering, and to find a solution regardless of what the obstacle him or she may encounter.
Okay, so next, what about you, Mr. Naim?
In my opinion, a good quality engineer should have a good analysis and critical thinking, good communication skill, good ethics, good interpersonal skill, and good in a math skill. These 5 criteria must be met to become a good quality engineer.
Okay, you guys giving a good answer for us to understand what is the good quality of an engineer. So we proceed to the next question for Mr. Hilmi. Can you explain for us a little bit about categories of registered persons?
Okay, so the category of a registered person based on Code of Conduct by BEM, there are 5 types of registered person. The first one is professional engineer with practicing certificate. The second one is professional engineer. The third one is graduate engineer. The fourth one is engineering technologist. And the last one is inspector of work. So basically, these are the registered person in engineering field.
Okay, so before I forget about our title tonight is Code of Professional Conduct in Engineering Ethics by Board of Engineering in Malaysia. So the third question is for Mr. Naim. Okay, is there anything that an engineer should do if he has been declared by a bank that he has bankrupt? Is he violating the code of conduct if he is not doing anything?
Yes, of course. He should notify this to the board in writing within 3 months. It has been stated that in section 1.1.10, where a registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall notify the board in writing within 3 months if he become a bankrupt.
Oh, so if we as an engineer already bankrupt or been declared bankrupt, we need to write a letter to a board to notify them, right, Mr. Naim?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so for Mr. Hilmi, let's say I am a fresh graduate from an engineering school, and I am working at this one company as a technician. One day, my colleague asked me to sign the documents, which is not under my supervision. Can I do that for the behalf of him?
No, you should not do that because it is violate the code, and there will be a penalty for you if you did so. Because in the section 3.1.5 stated that registered graduate engineer shall sign only those engineering documents that he has prepared or has prepared under his control. So you cannot sign the documents for the behalf of your colleague.
Oh, I see. Thank you for answering my question. So, the next session is the random question that I collect and compile together for you guys to answer it. So the first question is for Mr. Naif. The question Kamaru is a professional engineer with practicing certificate, and he is qualified in electrical and electronic engineering. One of his associates asked him to check and approve the construction plans and documents since he is a professional engineer. He said he can do that. Is he a good professional engineer with practicing certificate?
In my opinions, he is not a good professional engineer with practicing certificate because he violated the code of conduct. In the section 1.1 stated that registered professional engineer with practicing certificate not to falsify qualification, and in the section 1.1.5 stated that registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall approve and sign only those engineering documents that he has been prepared or has been prepared under his direction and control. He is lying to his associate about his qualification.
Oh, I see. So lying is not acceptable in engineering field.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So we move to the next question, where the question is a little bit complicated for Mr. Hilmi. Okay. The question is, Shah is a professional engineer with practicing certificate. He is working at company A as an assistant operations chief. Company A is a big company that has many production factories. But Shah also worked at Alam Berhad company as an advisor at the same time. So basically, Shah worked at two places at one time. And suddenly, his superior asked him to find a catering company to supply the food for company A staff. Shah is trying to convince his superior to give the project to Alam Berhad, where he worked there at Alam Berhad. Is he violating the code of conduct? And do you agree with his action, Mr. Hilmi?
Oh, no, I don't agree with his action. And yes, he obviously violates the code of conduct for a professional engineer with practicing certificate. Because on the code of conduct by BEM, under section 1.3 for registered professional engineering with practicing certificate, it has clearly stated that this section clearly claims that any registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall accept benefits from more than one party. Other than in the section 1.3.3 stated that a registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall not solicit or accept any consideration, financial or otherwise, directly or indirectly, from outside agents in connection with work for which he is responsible. I am totally not agree with his action because it is violating the code of professional conduct, and as an engineer, he should show a good behavior, obey to the code.
Oh, I see. So as an engineer, we cannot do we cannot work at two different places, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, okay. So we move to the next question for Mr. Naim. Zamri is a professional engineer with practicing certificate, and he worked at Megah Sdn Bhd as a head department of manufacturing. He has been assigned to most building projects, but throughout the 6-month duration of the project, Zamri only visiting the site one time only. At the end of the project, Zamri signed and declared the whole operation is complete. Is his action acceptable for you, Mr. Naim? Can you explain it?
Oh, for me, Zamri action is not acceptable because in the Code of Professional Conduct, Section 1.2 stated that registered professional engineer with a practicing certificate to certify work only if he has a control over supervision. He never visit the site yet. He approved the project. He also violate the code where Section 1.2.1 said a registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall certify satisfactory completion of a piece of work only if he has a control over supervision of the construction or installation of the work, and only if he is testified that the construction or installation has fulfilled the requirement of the engineering design and specification.
Oh, I see. So basically, or in another word, Zamri is not supervised. He is not supervising the entire project at all. And you said he is violating the code, right?
Yes,
So this is not acceptable at all.
not acceptable.
Okay. So the next question is for Mr. Hilmi. A
Yes.
little bit long question for you. Haikal is a graduate engineer who works as senior maintenance at company A. Haikal has a team of maintenance under his supervise to maintain every KD right for company A. He is responsible for signing important documents that certify any successfully KD right maintenance schedule for company A. So every maintenance job should be done before 6 p.m. One day, during a busy schedule, one of the PD rides is not completely serviced, but Haikal signed a complete maintenance service anyway, and claiming the specific PD ride is still in good condition, and service work can continue tomorrow. Is Haikal a good graduate engineer, Mr. Hilmi?
Oh, for me, I personally think that Haikal is not a good graduate engineer because in Code of Conduct section 3.1.2 under graduate engineer, it is stated that a registered graduate engineer shall check with due diligence the accuracy of facts and data before he signs or endorses any statement of claim or claim. So he shall not sign on such document unless, when necessary, he made qualification on errors and inaccuracies. In this case, Haikal should not have signed the document knowing that the service job is not fully done, although maintenance work service would resume tomorrow.
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Hilmi, for explaining it clearly for us. So the next question, Yusri is a graduate engineer who works under mechanical and electrical department for Company X. And Company X provide a repair and maintenance. I'm sorry. Yes, this is the question. And Company X stated that all employees shall not reveal facts, data, or information about company to other parties without prior consent of the company. And one day, U3 is dispatched to company Y to repair the broken elevator. On that day, the elevator is not completely repaired because of certain defect material. but it still can be used for a few times. A complete repair work could cost a lot more time, and company-wide could switch to other companies for repair work. Revealing this info would jeopardize the company X reputation. U3 decides to inform company-wide to not use the elevator because there still repair work needs to be done. Is U3 a good engineer? Mr. Naim, what do you think about this question?
Yeah, usually has a good graduate engineer behavior because in Code of Conduct section 3.2.5, under a graduate engineer, it is stated that registered graduate engineer shall not reveal fact, data, or information without the prior consent of the engineer or employer, past and present, except as authorized or required by law, or when the withholding of such information is contrary to the safety, health, and interest of the public. In this case, you should know that if you do not tell company why about the condition of the repaired elevator, then accident could have happened and a person could get injured. Knowing this, you should had to tell the truth even if it means jeopardizing company X reputation.
I see. So you three show a good behavior as an engineer by telling the truth, right, Mr. Naim?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we move to the next question, where I will appoint this question for Mr. Hilmi. So Rahman is a registered engineering technologist who works as maintenance engineer under company A. Rahman leads and supervises a team where his team need to maintain a boiler in the company A. He is responsible for signing the maintenance checklist for a boiler on the production department in company A. One day, Rahman is super busy and he does not check the maintenance done by his team because the due date is that day. But he signed the checklist without checking the maintenance done by his team. Is Rahman a good technologist?
Oh no, Rahman is not a technologist because in Code of Conduct section 0.2.2 under Engineering Technologies, it is stated a registered engineering technologist shall check or verify with due diligence the accuracy of facts and before he signs or endorses any statement or certification. He shall not sign on such document unless he has advised, witnessed, or inspected the carrying out of such work. So in this case, Rahman should not have signed the document checklist before he really checked the maintenance. He is really done by his team. So this is not a good behavior of a technologist showed by Rahman.
Okay, that's a good explanation from Mr. Hilmi. So the next question is for Mr. Naim, where the question states that Amir is a registered engineering technologist who works under electrical for department of Company Z. Company Z produce and manufacture a 21700 battery cell model for use for electrical cars. During the quality check on a production line, Amir as an engineering technologist doing an inspection on the batch stage of the production line. After doing the inspection, Amir found that the majority battery on a batch stage of production having a problem, which is the battery has a very thin insulation on a positive terminal. This defect could lead the explosion when the battery was fed together and equipped in an electric car after several years of use. Amir informed the defect during the daily meeting to the head of department. Is it Amir is a good registered engineering technologist, Mr. Naim? What do you think?
Oh, for me, AMI is absolutely a good registered technologist because in Code of Conduct section 4.2.3 under registered engineering technologies, it is stated that registered engineering technology shall bring to the attention of the engineer of or employer at the earliest possible opportunity of any instance where the work of material used are not in compliance with the specifications, drawing or condition of contract. I mean, know that if he did not inform about the defect on the positive terminal insulation of the battery, the catastrophic incident may happen when the battery pack was equipped on the electric car and released into the market.
Oh, I see. So Ame showing a good behavior as a technologist. So we shall move to the next question. Okay. Irfan works for the government body as an inspector of work, and Irfan given a job to inspect safety requirements for company H building project. The building takes place at a construction site near a busy road. During safety inspection, Irfan found out that certain safety requirements is not met by company H, and this building project will have to hope for further investigation. Safety measures have to be taken. More time and cost will be paid by company H. Knowing this, Irfan should have taken the case to the authorities for further action. Instead, Irfan is approached by Sufyan, where Sufyan is one of the officers of company H, with incentive money to adjust the safety regulation in favor of company H. Sufyan promised that safety measure will be taken after this. Irfan accepted the incentive money and corrected the safety fault by company H building project. Is Irfan a good inspector, Mr. Hilmi? What do you think about this question?
I think no. Irfan is a really not good inspector because this type of behavior can jeopardize the whole engineering inside of Malaysia. So why is Irfan is not a good inspector? This is because Code of Conduct Section 5.3.3 under Inspector of Work stated that a registered inspector of work shall not solicit or accept any consideration, financial or other, directly or indirectly, from outside agents in connection with the work for which he is responsible. In this case, Irfan should have not accepted the incentive money, even though Sufyan had promised to fix the problem without involving a third party. This will involve the risk of injury for people who are using the roadside, and the required safety measures cannot be taken. So Irfan showed a really not behavior for an inspector.
Oh, okay, I see. So, as an engineer and as a Muslim, he should not take the incentive money because it is clearly or violates the code of conduct, and it's actually a sin for us to take the incentive money, right?
Yes.
That is correct.
Okay, so we move to the next and last question for Mr. Naim to answer it. So the
Okay.
question is about Fakrul. Fakrul is an inspector of work for company S, where company S is a housing project company. Fakrul has a background study of mechanical and electrical engineering and has worked as electrician. Fakrul job scope in company S is to inspect safety requirements for every electrical job done in every housing. On a working day while inspecting a house, Fakrul found out that mechanical work in the house is not done correctly. Fakrul knows the issue and problem, so he instructed his colleague to fix the problem even though he is not responsible for that task. In the end, they fix the problem. Is Fakrul a good inspector, Mr. Naim?
Oh, Fakro have a good behavior, but according to the Code of Conduct section 5.2.4, under Inspector of Work, he has violated the rule of an inspector. It is stated that a registered inspector of work shall not issue instruction to the contractor or give verification or approval to work carried out by the contractor unless he has authorized by the engineer or employer to do so. In this case, even though Fakro has a background of mechanical engineering and can perform a mechanical work, he should not instruct his colleague to do a job task that is not under his authorization. Fakro should inform about the problem first to the unauthorized officer before asking if he has authorization of fixing the problem.
Oh, okay. So this section actually explain about about no matter what is our background study or what we learn in university, we cannot apply in working field even though we know about the problems. Instead, we should inform the problem to the authorized officer first, right, Mr. Naim?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for answering the question, both of our panel. So I think we have come to the end of the e-forum tonight. So what I can conclude here and what I'm hoping from this e-forum, I hope all of you can gain some knowledge about our topic tonight. So we know the importance and the usage of code of conduct, and as an engineer, we shall have integrity to obey the code of use, the code of conduct that has been gazetted by Board of Engineering Malaysia. This is important for us engineers to follow it because BEM wants to set a standard professional behavior. You can expect another professional engineer to behave with honesty and integrity since they adhere to the same creed as you. The public can also be assured you are not pulling a fast one or working for your own gain. The standard of professional behavior provides the people who you work with and for a foundation of trust that you are going to operate in the project and public's best interest. So I'm going to say thank you for joining me in this forum tonight, Mr. Naim and Ms. Hilmi. Thank you very much.
Thank you also, Mr. Ridwan, for inviting us to this e-forum.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me to this forum.
Have a good day.